Hello, BookTube. Hello, friends. Welcome to LizziefayeLovesBooks. I'm Elizabeth, and welcome to 2025. Now, this is not my first video of the year, but generally in December and January, people do some reflecting about the previous year and make some goals going forward, and that is what I want to do today. And it is a beautiful sunny day here in Central Florida, even though it is late January, and our past few days, as well as I'm sure many of yours, have been gray and rainy and wet. I know that in parts of the country there have been, snow and ice. Thankfully, we haven't had that, although in northern Florida, I understand that they have had some freezing temperatures, and I think we are going to get a little bit of freezing temperatures tonight, but as of right this moment, it is beautiful. Now, it's still cold, but it is beautiful. And so I thought I would take a few minutes to get in here and film a couple of videos. So I've been kind of working over the last few days to just reflect on how things went in 2024 and what I want to do going forward in 2025 as far as reading goals, other life goals, things like that. So that's what I want to share with you in this video. And then in a separate video, I will talk about the specific series that I want to focus on in 2025. More specifically, what I've got on my SAS list, as so many people have started calling series about series. And I love that. If you are one of those people who has done a video talking about what you have on your SAS list, thank you so much. So what I'm specifically reading in the way of series, I will put in a separate video, but I will give you just a little sneak peek of the categories that I have chosen for my Serious About Series challenge for this year. But for now, let's talk about how I did in 2024. Let's do all the bookish stuff first, including what I did in 2024 and what I'm planning to do in 2025. And then at the end of the video, I'll talk a little bit about my other life goals and endeavors and things like that. So for 2024, I read either 320 or 321 books. I've spent the last few days looking at and figuring out and making a shelf for which books I listened to on audio and which ones I read in print. And those two totals came to 321. I'm not sure why that is. I've gone back over it and over it. It could just be that it totaled 320 at the end of the year, and even though I've changed and added a couple things, it just didn't regenerate a new total. I'm not sure. Let's just go with 320. Anyway, so I listened to 190 of those on audio, and 130 of those books were books I read in print. Now, that, of course, included a lot of children's books. My daughter and I have been reading the Caldecott winners and things like that. It also included 18 ebooks, so that's definitely up from previous years. I don't normally read that many ebooks, but I got into trying to meet these little Kindle challenges and things like that, and so it propelled me to read more ebooks, and also because I had collected a few that I've purchased in my Kindle library. Not nearly as many as some people, I think. I know that I've heard some people say that their Kindle library is just out of control, and for me, it's my physical books that are out of control. But on my Kindle, I probably only have less than 60 unread books. And not many more than that I've read, probably still less than 100. But I'm working on, reading some Kindle books, so my total was definitely up. Now, my overall book total was down from last year. Last year, I had 341 books read. This year, just 320. But, still a great number, and I'm very happy with that. 20 of the books that I read of the 320 were rereads. So that was good. And 7 of those were on audio, and 13 of those were in print of the 20 rereads. And if you like stats, I did go through and look to see how many were 5 stars, 4 stars, etc. I had 113 5-star reads. Now, I'm pretty generous with my 5-star ratings. If I really just enjoyed it thoroughly and didn't have any major problems with it, I tend to go ahead and rate it 5 stars. If it's something that I enjoyed, but I still maybe had 1 or 2 issues, or it just didn't hit me, right in the feels, but I still enjoyed it, I would give it 4 stars. 3 stars means that there was something about it that I really didn't like, but still, I wouldn't regret reading it. That's what I would give 3 stars to. And then 2 stars means that I did have some major problems. I did go ahead and finish the book, but I definitely did not enjoy it. So then I didn't have anything that I rated 1 star. Well, I did actually find one, but I'm pretty sure that was accidental. So I went through and I changed that. So I had 113 that were 5-star ratings. 35 of those were audio and 78 of those were in print. It's interesting that it was a higher print number, and I don't know what that says about anything. I mainly read in print when I can't find an audiobook, and if it's something that I really want to read. So perhaps it's just books that I expected to love anyway, but part of it could be that if I read it in print, I can appreciate it more, and it sticks with me more, maybe. I don't know, because then the opposite was true for my 4-star reads. I read 143 4-star reads, and 101 of those were on audio, and 42 of those were in print. For 3 stars, I just had 55 books, and 45 of those were on audio, and 10 of those were in print. And I had 9 2-star reads, 8 of those were audio, and only 1 was in print. And I went ahead and looked at my most read authors. So I'm going to share with you the authors that I read 5 or more books by. In print, I just had one author that I read 5 books by, and that was Marie Ferrarella. 3 of those were physical books and 2 were ebooks. 4 of them were from the Kavanaugh Justice series, which I am reading in consecutive order. I started with book 1. I've been trying to collect this series in physical form, and I still don't have a copy of books 1 or 3, so I read those on ebook on Hoopla, but I do have copies of 2 and 4, so I read those in print, and I have a copy of book 5, which I'm reading right now. Then I had 2 authors that I read 6 books by in physical form. One of them was a children's author named Jeffrey Brown, and he writes kids' Star Wars themed books. So he wrote the first 3 books in the Jedi Academy series, which is kind of a combination text and graphics, and it's an adorable series. He only wrote the first 3, and then another author took over and wrote from book 4 on to the end. He may still be writing them, I'm not sure. But I read the first 3 by Jeffrey Brown, and then I read book 4 by the other author. But then in addition to those Jedi Academy books, I read 3 other Star Wars children's books by Jeffrey Brown for a total of 6, and all of those I read in print. And then a new favorite author to me that I just learned about in 2024 and immediately bought some of her books on eBay and have read 6 of them already is Gladys Taber. I absolutely love Gladys Taber. She is one of my new favorite authors, and I want everybody who hears me to please go and find yourself a Gladys Taber book and read it. In fact, I am planning to do a little booktube event to celebrate Gladys Taber in April, which is her birthday month. So between now and then, find yourself a Gladys Taber book. You don't have to wait till April to read it. Go ahead and read it now if you want to, and then we will have a little chat about Gladys Taber on her birthday in April, and there will be more information coming on that as it gets closer to that time. But between now and then, please find yourself a Gladys Taber book. There is only one that I have found that's available on ebook, and it's one of her fiction books. So I have not read that yet. I have seen it on Kindle. I think it's called Spring Harvest. But whether you go on eBay or whether you just keep your eyes out at library sales or things like that, keep your eyes open for Gladys Taber, and please do yourself a favor and find yourself a Gladys Taber book. You will not be disappointed. So then I had one author in print that I read 7 books by, and that was because I joined in on the Let's Read Nancy Drew read along with Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes, and in 2024 I read 7 Nancy Drew books by Carolyn Keene. So then I had a higher total on ebook this year. Of the 18 ebooks I read, 10 of them were by Hope Callahan. Hope Callahan writes faith-based cozy mysteries that are delightful. I read from 2 different series by her for a total of 10. I read from the Cruise Ship Mysteries and from the Garden Girls Mysteries. And then on audio, I had 7 audiobooks that I listened to by Terry Blackstock. Terry Blackstock is a Christian author. She writes Christian suspense, but she also has a wonderful sort of romantic comedy that is Christmas themed called Catching Christmas. So I read one complete series by her on audio called New Point 911 during March Mystery Madness. And then in December, I listened to Catching Christmas for a total of 6 books by Terry Blackstock that I listened to on audio. I had 7 books by a romance author, Lori Wilde, and 6 of those were on audio. One of those was actually in print. They were all from the Twilight, Texas series, which I kind of binged on in January because I wanted to go ahead and read through the ones that I owned in physical form, and I'm happy to report that I have listed those on eBay and sold them. So now I no longer have those taking up space on my shelves. They were enjoyable. She does write a little bit of, steaminess in her love scenes, but not completely over the top, and definitely enjoyable stories. So I enjoyed most of those. And then I did read one in print. It was a novella that I had on my shelves, and so I read that. So now for 2025, I've got one more novella, which I actually have checked out on ebook right now, and one more audiobook that I didn't own on my shelves. It's the newest one. So now that it's available on audio, I'm going to go ahead and finish up that series in 2025. But for 2024, I read 7 books by Lori Wilde, and 6 of them were on audio. Then I had one author that I listened to 10 books by, and those were all part of my 60 by 60 challenge, and the author was Elizabeth Berg. I actually did a video about Elizabeth Berg and about everything I read by her, and I can put a little card right here if you are interested in that. And then in 2024, I listened to 14 books by Jen McKinley, all from her Cozy Mystery series. I finished up that challenge to read all of the Cozy Mystery series by Jen McKinley. Then my most read author of 2024 that stands out above the crowd, I read 16 titles by this author. That was the Jack Reacher series by Lee Child. I listened to 13 audiobooks by Lee Child, and then 3 short stories or short story collections, and a couple of those I think were on audio. There was at least 1 or 2 on ebook, and then 1 or 2 on audio. I can't remember for sure. And 1 or 2 of the collections had maybe 2 in it, but some of the short stories I read from a larger book. Anyway, it all totaled to 16 entries on Goodreads, so I'm saying it, 16. Most of the short stories I read came from a larger collection called No Middle Name, and eventually I will get that book and just read through all the short stories again. But for right now, I'm counting them individually as I'm reading them in publication order as they show up in the publication order on Goodreads. So a total of 16. The Reacher series has just had me hooked from book 1. I absolutely love the series. I have watched both seasons of the TV show, and I'm excited about season 3 coming soon. I have watched both of the Tom Cruise movies, and I am just a Reacher fan through and through. Anyway, I had a very good reading year and really enjoyed what I read, and I'm excited now to look forward to what I'm going to read next year. But before I get on to next year, a few challenges. I kind of have already mentioned a couple of these. I completed the Triple Top Treat read-along, which was the challenge to read all 3 Jen McKinley Cozy Mystery series. We started that in 2023 and then finished it up in 2024. I did participate in one of the read-alongs in the Killing Time with Cozy's group. I listened to the Georgia Peach Mysteries. We did a little read-along of those 3 books. I did the Nancy Drew read-along with Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes. And I also had a couple of buddy reads with some BookTube friends. I did most of my 60 by 60 challenge, which was a challenge to listen to 60 of the books from my shelves by my 60th birthday. I didn't quite get done. I got done with almost 50 of them by my birthday, and I have finished up a few more since then, and now I think I have 7 or 8 left to go, and I'm going to finish that challenge before I start on another challenge that I actually announced last year and didn't do anything on, and that was my 25 by 25 challenge. So now I'm just kind of changing it to 25 in 25. I will listen to 25 Christian fiction books that I own physically on my shelves that I can get on audio. And I'm going to change that up a little bit in 2025. I'm not going to read the exact 25 that I showed in my video, because a few of those were in shorter series, like 2 and 3 book series. And so I am taking those out and putting those in with my SAS list and moving in some Amish books that are standalones that I will listen to this year, and possibly a couple of Christmas books, things like that. So my goal, though, going forward into 2025 is to listen to at least 25 Christian fiction standalone books, and then I will take those and put those on loan or donate to our church library. So anyway, that kind of segues into my goals for 2025. Now, I didn't really talk about my Goodreads goal. I just usually set it at 150, and I always surpass that. I usually try to double it, and so I just kept it at 150 for 2025. And then my overall goal, though, is to read as many or listen to as many audiobooks as I can that I own physically, so that I can unhaul those books. I will still keep a few of my favorites, and there are a handful of books that I listened to on audio this past year that I'm going to keep because I think I will want to read them again, and I just want to keep them. So I'm definitely allowing myself that, but the majority will be either taken to our church library, traded in at the bookstore where I work, or sold on eBay, or put in a little free library. I have lots of options. And so I have 5 reading projects in 2025 that I need to finish. I've already mentioned a couple of those, my 60 by 60 challenge and my 25 by 25 challenge. Those I definitely want to finish. Another one that I've been working on for 3 years, embarrassingly, is the ABC challenge that the Killing Time with Cozy's group announced in 2022, I believe. And everybody but me got it done in a year because they didn't worry about going in any certain order. They just, they did all 26 books and, they were good. I decided I would challenge myself to go in ABC order, which put a little bit of a hold on things, because some of the ones that I challenged myself to read were books that I had to read in print, but they were books I wanted to read, and it was a good motivation for me to get those books read. So I'm not sorry about that. I just thought that I would be able to get it done in, 2 years max. So the end of 3 years came, and I still had X, Y, and Z to go. And I'm pretty sure that if I could have gotten my X book on audio, I could have finished it up in December. But alas, I could only read it on ebook, and there was no time in December to read it. So I have read my X book in January, and I've listened to my Y book, and now all I have left is my Z book. But because my Z book is number 30 in a series that I'm only on number 10, I decided that since I'm not in a rush anymore, I would have gone ahead and skipped over to book 30 if I had gotten them done in December, if I thought I'd had a chance at finishing in December, but there was no hope of that. So now there's no rush for me to skip over a bunch of books, because that goes against my nature anyway. So I am about to listen to the next several. I've got them checked out on my Hoopla. That is the Campers and Criminals series, which features the only cozy mystery that I know of that has a book that starts with Z, but it's number 30. And I'll be listening to those over the next couple of months and finishing that challenge this year, finally. And then I have 2 other challenges I've been working on, one for many, many years, and that is a challenge to read all of the Newbery winners. I really thought I could have gotten it done last year, and I probably could have, except that I kind of lost my focus and I wasn't really focusing on reading Newbery winners. This year, I'm pretty sure I can finish it. And I also started a challenge a couple of years ago to read all of the Caldecott winners. There are not as many of those, and since those are predominantly children's storybooks, they don't take as long to read. And I've been reading those with my daughter, so I will finish that challenge this year to at least catch up. And then going forward, we will, continue to read the new Caldecott winner each year, and I will continue to read Newbery winners as they, as they are announced. Then I also have a goal to read 10 adult Star Wars books in 2025. I was so thrilled that I finally, in 2024, started reading Star Wars books. I am an OG Star Wars fan. I consider myself to have been in the Star Wars generation. I was 12 when the original movie came out. I saw it in the movie theater 3 times, and I've been a fan ever since. And I've been collecting old Star Wars books since college, and I have finally read all of the oldest ones. Every Star Wars book that was published in the 70s and 80s, now I have read. Now, I don't know if there were any children's books that were published in the 70s and 80s. I do have a bunch of children's books now, and I'm going to look into that and see if there are any older children's books. There might be some, but I don't know. There are some comic books, though, that were published in the 70s and or 80s, and I don't have my hands on those yet. But I'm pretty sure those are on Kindle Unlimited, so the next time there's a good special on Kindle Unlimited, I want to go ahead and get on there and get busy reading some of those older comic books. But anyway, now going forward into 2025, I have a goal to read 10 Star Wars books that were published in the 90s, and I'm for now going in publication order. I won't always go in publication order, but for now I have decided I'm going to go in basic publication order. Now, of the first 10 or 12 books, there are 2 complete trilogies, so I will read both of those. And there's another trilogy that starts somewhere around book 10 of the, publication order. I'm not going to start that one yet. There are 4 standalones that are all in the first dozen books. So I'm going to read those 4 standalones plus the 2 trilogies for a total of 10 for 2025. Now, if I just race through them and I decide to go ahead and read more, I might. But for sure, I plan to read those 10. I also belong to 2 book clubs. I did read most of the book club books last year. There were a couple that I did not get read. One, just because I couldn't find it on audio and I didn't have time. That was our January book. And then later in the year, I started one and just decided it wasn't for me, and I did not read it. I think those are the only 2 that I did not read. There were a couple that I didn't get finished in time for the book club discussion, but I believe I went ahead and finished all the other books for my 2 book clubs. So going forward, I, of course, plan to read all of the books that I can, but I did decide that if I encounter a book club book for our regular literary book club that I am just not gelling with, that I'm not going to make myself finish it. I do facilitate the mystery book club at our public library, so I kind of need to read those, whether I want to or not. But we do have a staff person who is usually always there, who reads the books. So if for some reason I can't or just won't read a particular book that's been chosen, she is usually willing to step in and lead that discussion. So I at least have a backup plan. And then Series About Series is my big project for the year, other than the ones I've already talked about. I have made several lists of series that I've grouped into various categories, and my theme this year for Series About Series is fun with 5s. So I have had some fun with 5s, and I've been combing through all of the series that I have started, that I'm currently reading, that I want to finish, and I'm going to share with you now what my lists are. And then in a separate video, I will go through each list and tell you specifically what series are on each of the lists. Real quick, I have 10 separate lists. 2 of them are lists that I am on book 5 of the series. One is just a general miscellaneous group of series that I'm on book 5 of, and one is a list of cozy mystery series that I'm on book 5 of. And then the next list is 5 series that I need to read one more to stay caught up on. These are series that I've already been caught up on, I've already finished, completed, and now there's one more book in each of these 5 series, and I want to read that next book. And then the next group is a group that I want to read all the time, but I have to read them in print because these are not available on audio, and I, as a result, have a hard time getting to them unless I have something really just pushing me to pick these up over something else, some greater challenge. So these are 5 comfort series that I want to work on in 2025. And if I just read one book from each of these 5 series, I will have met this goal. Now, I hope I will read more. In fact, I'm sure I will read more from a couple of these. But if I just read one from each series, then I will check that goal done. Then I also have 5 cozy mystery series that I need to read in print. So the first 5 are just comfort reads. They're not mystery series. Well, one of them is, but it still fits on this list. But then the next list is 5 cozy mystery series that I need to read in print that I own almost all of. And yet, I only read one book from any of these 5 series last year. So I want to for sure read at least one book from each of the 5 series in 2025, and hopefully more. Then the next 2 are groups of series that I believe I can finish or catch up with. One list is 5 middle grade or YA series that I want to finish, and the other is 5 adult series that I want to finish. And then the next 2 lists are lists of series that I have not visited in 5 years or more. Literally have not picked up a single book from any of these series since 2020 or earlier. I have a list of 5 YA or middle grade series that I've not picked up in 5 years, and a list of mystery series that I have not picked up in 5 years. Now, not specifically cozy mystery series. There are some cozy mystery series on the list, but then there are some that are not cozy. And I have not read any books from those series since 2020 or earlier. And then I have one last list of 5 that are series that I'm anxious, nervous, or unsure about whether to pick up the next book. I'm nervous about picking up the next book in each of these series for different reasons. Not necessarily because I don't think I will like them, but there's something about each of these series that is just making me hesitate before picking up the next book. So, and I'll share those with you in my Serious About Series video. And then I have one list of 1 book, because this is a 5-book series, so it's still got the 5 in there. And this is a series I have had on every single series list since I started doing Serious About Series, and I have not yet started it. I have to read this series in print. I know it's good. My sister has read the whole series and loved it. I own all of them. I need to read this series. So I will share that with you in my Serious About Series video. So then I also have a couple of series that I'm going to buddy read, or at least read the first one to get started on a series. So I'll be sharing all of those specific series with you in my Serious About Series video, which will be coming soon. So before I end this video, let me just share a few other things that I want to share with you as far as other aspects of my life. In 2024, my biggest accomplishment was finishing this 68-page book for my mother's side of the family. This was the 2nd edition. My mother and I had put one together that was about half this size back in 2001, and for the last 3 years, I had been working on updating it, and I mainly did it as a gift for my family. It's not a moneymaker. We did sell copies, my sister and I, to the family, and we still haven't quite broken even yet. I've still got a couple of boxes left that, because we wanted to order enough that we had enough going forward. So I do need to get in touch with some of my other extended family to see if I can distribute the rest of these books, but it's done, and I'm thrilled about it. It took so much of my mental energy. It took so much time to do it. But in doing so, I was able to connect and reconnect with so many of my extended family. My mother came from a huge family. She had 10 brothers and sisters, and this book is not only about her brothers and sisters, it's about all of the descendants of her grandfather, and he had 14 children. So you can see what kind of an undertaking this was, but it has photos and descendant charts, ancestor charts. It's just if I do say so myself, it's a wonderful book, and I'm so thrilled that it's done. And then I had some other goals. My health goals were to lose 70 pounds. I got started later in the year, in the second half of the year, I did start a weight loss group at my church, and they have been a wonderful support group. So I was able to lose 15 pounds by the end of the year, and still have a goal to continue losing, and will hopefully lose another 55 this year. Now, I haven't been working on it very diligently over the holidays, and I still feel like I'm in holiday mode as far as eating goes, but my daughter and I will be getting back onto our eating plan very soon. We just did some grocery shopping yesterday, and we are both planning to lose several more pounds this year. And so my next goal, though, after getting our eating back on track, is to exercise more. And I want to thank my friend Sonia from Sonia with an I, because when she messages me on Voxer, she is usually walking, and that reminds me to go walk. So Sonia, thank you for that, and I hope that we can continue that going forward in this year, that we will, both get our walking in, and just continue with our health goals. Then I also had some decluttering and reselling goals. In fact, I started a whole new channel called The Reading Reseller, and I intended for that channel to focus on reselling and decluttering, and I ended up really just focusing more on reselling, and I kind of fizzled out. I did several videos, and then I have not done anything on that channel in several months. So I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with that channel, and what direction I want to go, and what I want to challenge myself to do, and what of my goals I can actually film without the filming taking over my life. Because that was the hard thing about doing it, was that in order to film what I was doing and edit it and everything, I was spending so much time with the filming and editing that I wasn't getting the work done that I wanted to share. So I just figured it was better to get the work done and not film anything than to, just keep beating a dead horse and having nothing to film. So I'm not sure exactly how I can balance that this year. I've been kind of binge watching decluttering channels and watching how they do things, and I've really been enjoying that. So it remains to be seen exactly what I will do with that second channel. But the videos are still there if you want to, see what the inside of my house looks like and all of that. Now, the inside of my house has gone through a lot of changes. I have gotten a lot of work done, and I've kind of come full circle with some of the book projects and the reselling and everything. Unless you see that and you think I'm a hoarder, let me just share with you my eBay totals for this year. I spent a little time yesterday just kind of adding things up, and I don't have the money totals or anything, but currently right now, I have over 800 listings on eBay. I have not been listing regularly since late October, because I couldn't keep listing every day and get ready for the yard sale, and then, we had my birthday and then the holidays and all that. So I did list faithfully every single day from the beginning of 2024 through most of October, and several months prior to that. I had probably at least a 365-day streak of listing every single day, and I want to get back to that. But when the year ended, we had still a little over 800 listings, and I sold 379 listings. Now, most of those were books. I forgot to add up how many of those listings were not books, and I will go back while I'm editing and count those up real quick, and I'll put that number here. The number I'm showing you right now is the number of listings sold that were not books. There may be a few magazine lots listed with this, but I didn't count those as books. But of the listings that sold, I sold 1,784 books at a rough count. So very close to 1,800 books left my house through eBay last year. So I don't have a problem letting books go. What I do have a problem with is bringing in more than I can get listed in a reasonable amount of time. So I'm going to be showing you a video pretty soon of a lot of the books that I recently bought at our liquidation store where I was working in November and December. I could not pass those up. At the end, they were all getting donated, and the deal was fill a bag for $1 that last weekend, and I just brought home as much as I thought I could handle and as much as I thought I could sell, which was a lot. I haven't even added up how many books there are, but I have taken some video footage. They're currently spread out in my living room. I just finished sorting them into author lots and series and things like that. So I'm going to film another clip today, actually, before I start lotting those up and getting them into boxes, just so you can kind of see the process that I go through to get books listed on eBay. So I'm just one person, though. My husband does help me out a lot. In fact, he took several photos the other day that I'm working on listing right now. Not books, but some other glassware and home goods items. So he's very wonderful about chipping in and helping whenever I need him to. But the books pretty much are mine to deal with because I generally pick up books that I know something about. Now, sometimes people give me free books, and, if those have a resale value, then I list them and sell them. But anyway, I was happy about this number. Almost 1,800 books have been sold, and that's not even all the books that left my house. I traded in a lot of books at our used bookstore. I also have a big box of books ready to be distributed to little free libraries, and I send books out to friends. I mean, I'm sure most of you have seen the videos that I did with Mitzi and Sonia where we traded books for Christmas. So anyway, I'm happy about that. So then also in 2024, I turned 60. So I have some big eBay goals going forward into 2025. I want to get up to where I'm listing 8 to 10 things a day. Now that's a lot, because if you're listing 8 to 10 things a day, you are selling about that much as well. And that would be fantastic. But I'm just one person, so I'm not sure I can handle that much. So I'm going to gradually work up to it. Very quickly, I'd like to get up to 5 things a day and see how long I can maintain that. And then, raise it as I feel like I'm ready to. So my main goal with eBay is to renovate our kitchen. And I have a lot of decluttering goals. A lot of rooms in my home, a lot of spaces need to be done. I have a building out back where we want to move the eBay store to. We want to put all of our listed items out there. But that is hoarded up with a lot of sentimental things, a lot of paperwork and things that I need to go through that have gotten stashed out there. So I have a lot of decluttering to do, and I'm not sure how much of that I want to show you, but if I do show you any of that, it'll be on my second channel, which is the Reading Reseller. So you can go there now and subscribe so that you will be alerted if and when I post another video, and I do plan to. So my decluttering partner is Mitzi from Mitzi Reads and Writes. Now, I've been to her home. She doesn't have a problem with this, but she has been such a big encouragement to me and a cheerleader to me. And we chat on Voxer almost every day and talk about our goals for the day and things like that. And so, Mitzi, thank you so much for that, because that has helped me so much. And I'm looking forward to just continuing that journey of getting my house decluttered. And I also got a lot of inspiration from a YouTube channel. I don't know this woman, but her channel has been a very big inspiration to me, and her channel name is A Hoarder's Heart, and I'll try to leave a link for that down below. She has some wonderful videos. She has spent several years on her channel just slowly working through all of her clutter, and it has been such an inspiration to me, and I really like how she does her videos. They're all very short, and you can see what she's working on, and they're just great. So if you have a clutter issue or a hoarding issue, then you might want to check out her channel. So that's about all I want to share with you today. Other than my reading goals, I have some health goals and some decluttering goals and some reselling goals. Those are the main aspects of my life. I do also still work at a used bookstore. I work about 10 hours a week, and I, plan to continue that job as long as they will have me. It's a lot of fun to go to work and play with books. So yeah, that is pretty much what my life looks like right now. I start each day with devotional reading. I am a Christian. I believe in starting my day and walking through my day with God. And I just appreciate so much all of the blessings that I have received. I am thrilled to have lived on this earth for 60 years, and I hope that I have many more. And I thank you for coming along with me on my YouTube journey. I will celebrate 10 years on BookTube this year in July. So thank you for being here for any amount of that time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great day. Read a good book, and God bless you.